Thank you everyone for joining our second Children and Youth Speaker Series program for 2023. We'll give everyone a moment to get settled in. My name is Adriana. I am one of the hosts for the speaker series. I'm the program manager for child, youth, and family programs with AboutFace, and I've been with AboutFace for almost 2 years now.
Hi, everybody. My name is Namra, and I am the program manager for peer and community support at AboutFace, and I've also been with AboutFace for about 2 years.
We're going to begin with a land acknowledgement before starting the program today. Each of us is joining the program today from a different location and therefore a different Indigenous land. I wish to acknowledge the land on which AboutFace is headquartered is in the city of Toronto. This land is the traditional territory of many nations, including the Mississaugas of the Credit, the Anishinaabe, the Chippewa, and the Haudenosaunee, and the Wendat peoples. We also acknowledge that Toronto is covered by Treaty 13 with the Mississaugas of the Credit. Today, this is the meeting place is still the home to many Indigenous peoples from across Turtle Island, and we are grateful to have the opportunity to work on this land. We hope that after this session today, you'll take a moment to learn more about the land that you occupy. We'll go over the lay of the land of today's Zoom call. So as a reminder, the Zoom call is being recorded. If you're joining us with your camera on or using your mic, that part of the program will be recorded as well. You're welcome to participate with your cameras on or off. The recording of the program will be uploaded to our YouTube page as a resource for the community. Please use the chat for any questions and also to participate and engage in the program. One last thing to note before we begin, we cannot provide any specific advice or counseling. So if you do have any questions that may be considered that, we would ask that you direct those to your healthcare team.
So today we welcome Ani Spooner. Ani is passionate about being a board director for AboutFace. She is an emotional dysregulation parenting coach, an ADHD and autism coach, a dialectical behavior therapy instructor. She's also a radical self-acceptance advocate and speaker. And we often hear things such as you have to accept the things you can't change, or you need to toughen up. And sometimes we get these messages in many different ways, but no one really tells us actually how to do it. In this presentation, Ani will teach you how to use mindfulness, how to deal with hard comments or looks of self-compassion, and how to tolerate distressing situations to help you overcome any difficult moments in your life. We welcome Ani.
Thank you. I'm so happy to be here. This is very exciting. So let's start. And it worked. So welcome, everybody. Today, we're going to be exploring really good, valuable skills that promote emotional well-being for you. And let's dive right in and learn how to navigate difficult emotions and cultivate resilience. So if you don't have it already, please get yourself a piece of food, anything. So for example, like a chip, a candy, a blueberry, a grape, a nut. Okay. So like Adriana said, I'm Ani Spooner, and I've been living a very good life as a person with a facial difference. I'm not saying that things were never hard. For sure, they were hard. But when things are hard now, I use my skills. So skills I want to share with you today. So like what was previously said, I teach these skills every day. And it's my job as a big emotions coach to help people so that they can really have a wonderful life. So let us start. How many of you have ever thought, I wish I looked different? Or it's not fair that I have a facial difference? Well, anybody? Any raised hands? No? Yeah. Me too. Yeah. So we've had these thoughts, right? And especially when I was your age. So now I'm like, I have so many tools that I'm not having these thoughts anymore. But actually, most human beings have had this thought in their life at one point or another. Unfortunately, when we have these thoughts, we suffer, right? We have pain. So how do we stop suffering or hurting inside? So that's what I want to talk about today. First of all, we can use a skill that I use all the time called radical acceptance. So what is radical acceptance? Well, it's the practice of accepting what is. So the truth, right? Without judgment or resistance, even in very challenging situations. Now, radically accepting something, there are benefits to that. And you can, with embracing radical acceptance, you can reduce emotional suffering, improve your self-esteem, and build resilience. And you have a mindset shift. So instead of focusing on what you can't change, you focus on accepting and working with what you have, right? So I like to look at it this way. Okay, and you might want to write this little equation down because it is life-changing to really realize the power we have when we radically accept. So I might feel pain sometimes since I look different from other people. But if I don't accept myself as someone who looks different, and I keep yearning and wanting and hoping to look like somebody I'm not, then I'm going to suffer. Okay? So in the equation, we see pain plus non-acceptance, not accepting. If I don't accept the truth, I have a facial difference. That's the truth. I can't argue with that, right? Pain plus non-acceptance equals suffering. Pain in life is inevitable. We have to learn to live with some pain, right? But suffering is optional. We don't have to be suffering, okay? So if I have pain, okay, I might not be super happy that I have a facial difference, but I radically accept that I do have it, that it's the truth, it's the reality, and it covers a big part of my face, right? Then change can happen. So pain plus acceptance equals change. So what happens when I accept myself radically? That I accept what the truth is, that I accept reality, then I can have change in my life. So for me, that change looks like posting on social media or working with AboutFace to make people aware of facial differences. My hope is that one day, and we're getting there, you know, with all your help too, that one day, you know, people are not going to be staring at us or making comments or bullying us, right? That they will accept us. So it means, to me, radical acceptance, it means that I'm also a counselor for all kinds of people in life who come to me to learn new skills to make their life more wonderful. It means being proud of who I am, not just my accomplishments, but also how I look and how I feel about myself, right? So once I accept myself radically, change happens. I can actually help change the world, which is kind of what I'm doing right now, hopefully, right? So, can you think of a time in your life when you've used radical acceptance? Anybody want to answer that? Can you think of a time? I can have a sip of coffee while you think about it. You can't think of any time? It's okay. But now that you know, oh, good, wonderful. Alexis.
Today at my aerial appointment, I was doing my routine, but the first move I did, I fell, and I have to radical accept that I fell. And after I got back up, and I did my whole routine again.
Amazing. Amazing. Exactly. You radically accepted it. And because of that, what happened? Change. You got up and you continued, right? Wow. I love that so much. Thank you. So what can help us to, what can help us, like what skill can help us with radical acceptance? And it's mindfulness. Mindfulness helps us a lot. So mindfulness helps reduce stress, anxiety, and depression, right? Letting you respond to challenges, emotions with clarity and calmness. There it is. So mindfulness is very, very helpful. So I want to do a little exercise here that shows us how to be mindful. Sometimes in life, we're like just living our life, going along, or, you know, doing things just automatically. Mindfulness is really taking time to notice stuff. So it's time to take your piece of food. Okay. I have a piece of pomelo. Oh, can't eat it yet. I'm really tempted. It's my favorite fruit. Okay, took that right out of my mouth. Okay, so we're going to hold our piece of food. Okay, and we're going to look at it. And we're going to wonder, you know, like mine has little ridges and little pieces. So we're going to look at the color and the texture. Okay. And now we're going to smell it. What does it smell like? Is it sweet? Is it greasy if it's a potato chip? Is it peanutty? And now we're going to put it on our tongue without chewing it. We're not going to chew it. So it's in your mouth. What does it feel like on your tongue? Interesting. It's like all the little ridges for me. Okay. And now we're going to chew it, but we're not going to swallow it. What does that taste like? Are you noticing something new about this food? Did you swallow already? So is it chewy? Is it crunchy? Is it juicy? Is it mushy? Okay, now swallow it. Mine was juicy. So what did you notice? You notice anything that you hadn't really noticed before? No, I can't stop eating it because it's my favorite. Anybody notice? Yeah, you're still, done, swallowed. Alexis, did you have a comment? No, okay. I thought you wanted to speak. Okay.
Yeah, it was bigger than I thought it was, because when I put it in my mouth, it was bigger, because I usually take a half and then the other half.
Okay, that is very interesting. So, you know, in real life, when you're just walking around and you're putting it in your mouth, you might have not really noticed that. You could have been doing other things. But mindfulness is about noticing all those little things. So like you're walking outside and you're looking at the trees. Well, you go close and you look at the bark, and you go close and you look at the leaves, and suddenly you're seeing all kinds of new things. That's mindfulness. Okay. So next. Oh, take your food. Next is the reptilian brain. Okay. And I want to mention the reptilian brain because when we're not radically accepting things, and we might have, or when we're trying, we might have something that stops us, and that is our reptilian brain. So imagine if somebody is coming close to you and asks you the famous question, what happened to your face? Right? We all know that question. So, or you see a group of like students or kids at school and they're laughing at you. What happens to our brain in that moment? So for some of us, this part of our brain might think that people are laughing at us is equal to seeing a lion nearby, because it's our reptilian brain. It's the brain that kind of saves us from danger. So that can be really unpleasant when our heart starts pounding, our palms start sweating, we're starting to feel angry or really, really distressed. So yes, people laughing at us is not fun, and it can be very, very hurtful, and it's not okay. And at the same time, though, it's not threatening our life. So it's not life-threatening, but our brain might be telling us that it is. Okay? Our brain is just trying to be nice and doing its job, but it might be making us feel something too intense. So what do we do to control our brain from making us feel panicked, like we're being chased by a lion or a bear? Well, we use some mindfulness techniques, because if not, we might be feeling anxious, panicked, angry, right, or frustrated, and our reptilian brain can take over. And what happens when our reptilian brain takes over? Our rational brain stops working. So I'm going to teach you a few mindfulness exercises. So we've got the breathing. I don't know if I can, oops. Sorry. We've got breathing here. So the breathing exercise, I'm going to explain it to you, and then we're going to do it together, okay? So when our brain goes into the reptilian brain, how do we bring it back? So we're going to breathe in through our nose, going up our thumb, and down through our mouth, and then up through our nose, up in, and down. We're going to breathe out. Okay, so let's start this, and we're going to do the whole hand. Okay, so I'm going to breathe in through my nose and go down. Breathe out through my mouth slowly. I'm going to breathe in through my nose really slowly and out through my mouth and up, oops, and down. Breathe out through your mouth and breathe in and out through your mouth, in through your nose, and out through your mouth. And what happens? That brings your brain back to the front here so you can make rational decisions and you're not feeling panicked. So if you want to hide that you're doing this, let's say you're walking around and somebody makes a comment, or you're not feeling so good and you're walking away, you can just put your hand down and discreetly kind of just do it. Okay. The next one is the color game, and that's the one I like the most. I use it all the time. So you just pick any color and you start pointing to colors or just looking at them. So you kind of in your mind or out loud, you go green, 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 green. My necklace is red, not green. And that's all you do. And it'll bring your brain back to this moment, right? Because what happens with our brain when it's in reptilian brain, it's that we're either thinking of the past, what happened, or we're thinking of the future, like, oh my gosh, I'm so worried about that test tomorrow, and I'm feeling panicked. If we can bring back our brain to this moment, then we're good. So another thing you can do is just feel the ground under your feet. And you just, okay, I tap my feet. I am feeling the ground under my feet. I feel the floor, or I feel the ground outside. And that brings you back to, okay. So those are 3 things that really help. And sometimes when we're a little different, like we are, and even if we're not, we can have self-judgment. And mindfulness can help us notice this self-judgment. So that's what we're moving to right now. We're moving to judgment and self-judgment. So how can we understand judgment and self-judgment? Well, first of all, let's figure out what judgment means. So judgment means forming opinions or evaluations about yourself or others. And self-judgment means evaluating ourselves really critically, right? Or not really, but just critically, often leading to feelings of shame, anger, frustration, and sadness. So the impact of self-judgment can really negatively affect our self-esteem and emotional well-being. So what can we do? Well, first of all, we're going to be mindful. We're going to use our skills of mindfulness, right? So notice the judgment. When you have judgment, when I have a judgment, I just say, oh, that's a judgment. So you notice it. I've made a judgment. Oh, I'm such a loser. Ooh, okay, that was a judgment. So I go, I have the thought, I'm such a loser. I go, wow, that's a judgment. I notice it. And then I let it go. Okay, bye-bye, judgment. Let it go like a butterfly. It's gone. Okay, judgments, self-judgments are never good. They never give us anything good, right? They make us feel bad, and they don't accomplish anything except making us feel bad. So we don't need to have this. So we know that judgment leads to shame, frustration, anger, and sadness, right? So how do we recognize shame? Well, we understand that shame arises from judgments and unrealistic expectations imposed by ourselves and by others. So we have to be really careful with our expectations of ourselves. Oh, I should be able to do this. If you're saying I should or they should, first of all, that's a judgment, right? And for sure, we're going to cause ourselves to have pain, shame, if we use words like that. Dealing with anger and frustration. Well, we need to stay mindful, right? Because when we're angry and frustrated, we're moving into reptilian brain. So what do? We have the skills now. You do a mindfulness color game, blue, 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 blue. Bring your brain back to the front. So you have your rational, or do something creative, or sports, or anything that you like to do to kind of manage your emotions. Okay. Addressing sadness. Well, for sadness, we allow ourselves to feel sad. And you can go and speak to somebody that you trust, and hopefully that person will validate your feelings And validating somebody's feelings means I'm not going to give you advice. I'm not going to say, hey, you're a big boy or you're a big girl right now. You can handle this. So I'm not going to judge you or shame you. And I'm just going to hear you. Yeah. Oh, that's so hard. If you don't have anybody to help validate you, then you validate yourself. You go, hey, like I talk to myself like that all the time. Like, wow, that was really hard. You know, that was hard, that person who came and asked me a personal question. So I'm validating my own feelings. I'm recognizing, yeah, that was hard. I'm allowed to feel hurt or sad. All emotions are okay, by the way. Even anger. It's what we do with our emotions that counts, but all emotions are valid. We've got also self-soothing. So self-soothing means, you know, you do something that you love, you have a nice bath, you go out for a walk, you listen to some music. Distress tolerance. So distress tolerance is like when we're really, really upset, the distress tolerance skills are strategies that help us cope with intense emotions, allowing us to tolerate really distressing situations. Again, self-soothing techniques here. So do activities that you really enjoy, that bring you comfort, relaxation, listen to music, do drawing if you love drawing, sports, and validate your own emotions, right? Like I said earlier, those are all important skills to have. So you accept your feelings. These are your feelings. They're valid and they're important. And in conclusion, embrace radical acceptance. Accept what you can't change and focus on what you can control. Practice mindfulness. Stay present in this moment right now, not in the past, not in the future. You stay here, and that helps you stay in your rational mind. Be aware of your thoughts and your emotions, and practice distress tolerance. So have a plan in place when things get really hard, like when somebody says something that's not okay, that's intrusive, right? So you can go splash cold water on your face. That brings your brain back. That's very helpful. It tells your brain, oh, it's time to sleep. It sends that message. So, and you can go out for a walk and exercise. So thank you so much. I'm done. Do you have any questions? Any questions about anything? Yes. Alexis?
Where did you learn all these techniques?
Oh, thank you. What a great question. Well, I have been working in this kind of field for 20 years. And I learned these techniques through dialectical behavior therapy. It's a kind of therapy, and it's really, really good for helping us to control our big emotions, right? Also, I've thought a lot about this stuff, right? Having a facial difference myself. So it was really important for me to not live a life where I'm feeling hurt all the time. So I think I just became really obsessed. I think I'm pretty obsessed with things like psychology, that kind of stuff. So, and I really love helping people. So it's part of my personality and what I like to do. Does that answer your question?
Yes, thank you.
You're welcome. Thanks so much for the wonderful question. Anybody else? I think someone had a question about how to make friends or something like that. I think I heard that somebody had that question. So I'm going to answer it. I don't want it to put anybody on the spot. So what I did when I was your age, and what I still do, is to be confident. Like, I never think that I shouldn't be somewhere. I never think that I shouldn't participate, right? So another thing that I like to do is keep my shoulders up straight, my head up. Like, I'm never ashamed of who I am. So I have a lot of friends. I meet a lot of people all the time. And I just expect that I'm going to be treated well, and that I belong. I belong to whatever space I'm in, right? I've noticed that if I go to the store and I'm feeling really, really down, and my shoulders are kind of like low and my head's low and I'm avoiding people, that is always the time that people come and talk to me about my facial difference. Always. So it's kind of like a superpower. It's a protection. It's like, when I keep my shoulders up and I'm really like, I feel good about myself, nobody can come in if I don't let them. And then also friends can come in. New people can come in. It's amazing. It's like a superpower. So I hope that answered your question, whoever had asked it before. Anybody else have any other questions? No? Okay. So back to the host then.
Perfect. So I think this brings us to the end of the presentation. I want to take a moment to say, Annie, that was great. Thank you for delivering such an amazing and informative presentation. Thank you to all the participants for joining and participating. I just want to send out a quick reminder that this presentation will be available on our YouTube channel shortly. So if you guys want to share it with your friends and family, please do so. Other than that, everyone have an amazing day. Enjoy your weekends.
Thank you,
Bye.
everyone. Thank you, Annie.
You're
Bye. Thank you.
welcome. Thank you. It's so lovely seeing you.
Great to see you. Take care.
Bye.